ridiculously large legless reptile you don't want any unless you had bakery fresh rolls. Yeah. Alright, no salutations, citizens. Barnett Bartholomew here for Public Science News, and let's hop right into it this week. We have some cool stuff that, things I used to think about when I was a kid. So, we'll start off with something that was like everybody did. You know, you all had a sandbox, right? Well, what would happen if, you fell through the center of the earth? Like, how long would it take? Because I know, like, I used to dig a hole to China. Well, it turns out that if you were to fall through the center of the earth, through that hole that you were trying to dig, like, if you actually did dig it, it turns out that it would take you, like, 38 minutes. Yeah, if you were to fall through from, like, the North Pole to the South Pole, like, in a straight line into the hole, 38 minutes. Which is actually shorter than we previously calculated. Yeah. Some grad student decided to go a little crazy and, started doing some numbers based on the density of the earth. So there you go. Also, it turns out that if we were to dig tunnels from like places like New York to Los Angeles, yeah, look at that, I know the directions, that we could actually make travel super fast if you sucked all the air out and made like a vacuum, and just like let gravity do the thing. That would be pretty cool. But yeah, 38 minutes. Sounds like a fine trip to me, you know, minus the burning up and the lighting on fire and, you know, ow. Okay, something else that's pretty cool, how many of us watched X-Men when we were kids? You know, woo! And there's like Hugh Jackman. Only cartoon Hugh Jackman. Yeah. Anyway, there's this guy who had night vision put into his eyeballs. Yeah. Super cool. He can totally see in the dark. Not like laser beams like Cyclops. No. Like actual just see in the dark. It turns out what they did is they used an eyedropper with some stuff that they extracted from deep sea fish. Yeah, and then they put it in his eyes, and he was able to identify things up to like 50 meters, which is super impressive. They used a control group of volunteers who didn't have the stuff been put in their eyeballs, and they were only able to see roughly like 1/3 of what he was able to do. They weren't as accurate. So there you go, 50 meters away in pitch black, able to see pretty well whatever he wants. So there you go. Coming soon to the U.S. military. Because, you know, they're going to want that. What else we got here? Oh, ketchup bottles. Man, as a kid, I hated those things. You could never just get it right. When you squirted it, like, when you finally come out, you'd be like, bloop! It's everywhere. It's on your fish sticks. It's on your french fries. It's on your potatoes. It's on your carrots. Yeah. Anyway. It's a company that's come up with a new non-stick coating that they plan on putting into bottles like ketchup and toothpaste and glue and all sorts of things. So, you know when you like have to rinse them out as an adult? Like, there's like goo stuck inside? Well, it won't do that anymore. It just all comes out. Every last little bit. It's all out. On the plate, where you want it. I like it. Super non-stick coatings. They are fantastic. Okay, what else we got here? Oh, as a kid, I really hated going to the bathroom. You know, you sit there and like dance up and down forever. Dance up and down, dance up and down, dance up. No, I don't want to go to the bathroom, Mom, I'm fine. Stop it. No, I don't want to go. Yeah. Well, turns out that, probably was unfounded. Turns out your poo actually contains a whole bunch of precious metals. Yeah, really cool stuff like palladium and other things. How they get there is a bit of a mystery. But we think it's come from like your food and like your clothing and like electronics, and just, you know, it gets into the dust or whatever and ends up in your mouth. Unless you're one of those weirdos that tries to eat things they're not supposed to. Yeah, don't do that. But turns out that if we find a way to reclaim all this stuff, reclaim, keepers creepers, you can actually use this stuff to cut costs and, of course, you know, make poo useful. Well, besides the fact that Bill Gates already turned it into, like, water and stuff. Yeah, that's pretty cool. What else we got here? Oh, now, I always wanted to go to a different planet. I always thought it was cool, the idea you'd be like, woo, I'm gonna find a different planet. I mean, I had like a book that was like written in like the 50s, talking about space stations that spun and went round and round and round and round and things like gravity and stuff. So, yeah. But, turns out this Mars One thing that they've been talking about, probably a scam. I know. I'm sad too. But, somebody who, signed up for it, the NASA scientist, was actually, looking into it. And it turns out that the medical procedure, like, the medical examination, was an interview over the phone. If that was the case, why the hell do doctors keep offices? Yeah, that didn't work. Not to mention that an advisor says that chances of them launching in the next 10 years is pretty remote. A more likely scenario, like this is the advisor who like worked with the Mars One people. He said the more likely result is 100 years they could launch. 100 years. Man, what a drag. All those people who tried to do things and bought merchandise and all that stuff, all a scam. Terrible. There's more details in the doobly-doo, but you get the idea. Disappointed. Womp womp. But whatever. Now, on to more adult things. We all know that daylight savings time is a pain in the butt. For those of you who don't have it, congratulations. But those of us who just went through daylight savings time or are about to, yeah, no fun. But imagine it could be worse. Could be on Saturn. Yeah, thanks to some new calculations, the day on Saturn just got shorter. Imagine that. Suddenly our 24-hour day turns into like 22. Imagine changing your clocks. Not just like change them, but like buy new ones. Just nuts. So be thankful that you only have to deal with daylight savings time and not like days getting shorter. Now I know yours can actually get shorter by a couple of picoseconds or something every year, but who cares? This is like hours. Screw that. Do not want. Oh, speaking of adult things, everybody likes wine. Well, I don't like wine, but I have a few friends who could like make a hot tub out of wine and just like bathe in it. But turns out that we could genetically modify yeast to boost health benefits. Also, reduce the hangover, which I hear is pretty terrible. Yeah. But we could use this to do this with beer too. But I think it's a neat idea because, you know, if you're going to get plastered anyway, it might as well be more healthy and have less chance of you waking up in the morning feeling like there's like a small child like dancing on your head. Yeah. Not cool. Especially if you're a parent. In that case, there's 2 small children. Yeah. Pretty gross. Oh, and it's something I always wondered about, but you ever wonder, like, how we read so fast? Yeah. I mean, it doesn't kind of make sense. I mean, we haven't been reading and writing for all that long, you know, like, speaking technically in terms of evolutionary and stuff. So, how do we read so fast? Well, I thought this was really cool. It turns out that we see words that we know as pictures. Yeah. So, we actually identify whole words. That's kind of like why you can see, like, if you rearrange the letters inside of a word, but we had like, the first letter and the last letter in the same spot, we can still read your word. Yeah. That's because we identify them as pictures. That's pretty neat. Explains why it's also so hard to learn to read. That's why it takes us forever. Because we need to build up a vocabulary of words so we can actually read at a decent pace. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And finally, we have thinking about Jupiter. It turns out that Jupiter actually went through the early solar system. Like it's not in the orbit it was now. So it turns out that actually went through the early solar system like a wreckage. Vic, I told you, we're not using that picture. I'll go over there and beat you. Better. Sorry. Came through the solar system like, don't you dare. That's what I thought. Like a wrecking ball. So, it turns out the orbit started in really early, like, super close, and then it slowly wound out to where it is now. Which explains why, we don't actually have, like, super giant rocky planets, like, close to the sun. All the other planets, like, we're like Earth 2.0. We were actually, like, smashed together and broken up and stuff by early Jupiter. So there you go. You think your neighbor was bad? At least he didn't, like, break you apart and put you back together again. Like Frankenstein's monster or something. Pretty cool. Remember, all these cool stories and more come from iflscience.com. They're really cool. They have all these stories sitting around every week. I take a look at the best ones and I stick them all together and show them to you. And if you want to see more of this stuff, subscribe up there. You can see more of these and you can keep me in business. Yeah. So thanks for watching. See you next time. What do you mean? Who the hell is Nicki Minaj?